So, what is lucidity? What is human consciousness? To me, human consciousness is a continuous stream. Consciousness for me, in my eyes, it never stops. We just change our perception of it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the mental realm of existence. I'm your host, Jose Luis Mateo Jr. One day we'll do a segment. Well, first I have to go to ancestry.com so I can find out. Is that where I go to find out the rest of my last names? No, that's just my ancestry, right? There's another one. There's another website specifically for that, and I'm gonna do that one day because I know of 7 of the names, and I really want to get way back there. I want to see if I can get back to the first person that was in line in my ancestral line. But for now, let's get back to the show. Today's episode: Fly, Don't Walk. Realizing your lucidity. So we've covered preparations for sleep, we've covered sleep induction methods, and we've covered dream journaling for recall and realization. By now, I hope that at the very least, that you have been gauging yourself to remember more dreams. I do know that in the hustle and bustle of life, right, with us have done the same thing every night, siphoning our consciousness in order to prepare to go to sleep because we believe that was a prerequisite, we have spent, however old we are, we've spent that many nights, that many days, that many nappy naps, that much time going in the opposite direction of where we're both headed now. Because I'm not some omnipotent lucid dreamer myself. I'm still working my way back into it from healing from my surgery and everything. I recently actually had a lucid dream. It was pretty amazing. So in this super short-lived lucid dream, it's daytime. It's afternoony, maybe a little bit before then. It was cloudy outside, and there's grass on either side of me, and I'm standing in a creek. And the creek it's a tiny little thing. It's more like a running puddle of water, really. Like the water isn't going higher than the top of my feet. I look around at the water, and the water has got like this nice light blue, purple color running through the water. And sometimes when I see something nice that I want to take a picture of, I'll make like a little box with my hand, with my 2 thumbs and index. I'll make like what's like the same size as a cell phone nowadays, and I'll pretend like I'm recording something through it, right, to be a little silly Billy. So I noticed that the water looked beautiful, and I crouched down and made the little box to, pretend record the water. And then I thought to myself, well, why not just pull out my phone? And then I was like, wait, what? Why am I even here? And then I had that sudden realization. This is a very quick transition thing. I'm explaining the play-by-play, right? I had a sudden quick realization that I was dreaming. And I got really excited. I wanted to confirm that I was dreaming, so I looked at my forearms and my arms to see my freckles and the hairs, and the freckles kept changing spots. They weren't stable. They weren't in one spot. And in my head, I was like, man, I wonder like, in what order were my freckles or whatever, trying to get that to stick, and it wouldn't. So when I saw that the freckles were shifting and stuff on me, I got a little scared, and I tried to tell myself out loud, it'll be okay, but I said, it'll be KO. So like I kind of caught myself losing the lucidity of the dream, just being enamored with the shifting of the freckles. And when I said it'll be KO, I was like, wait, what did I just say? So I thought to myself, I got to take advantage of the situation. I got to maybe I should try to do some like lucid dream healing or something, like some therapy healing or something like that. And I just thought to myself to actually keep it simple. I had like a little sea storm of emotions inside of me, and I thought to myself that this was gonna be the reason that I woke up. And it's insane. I perceived that I was standing in this little creek, right? And I suddenly just started crouching down and laying down. I didn't have the lucid control over my body anymore. I just felt the form of my body, or what I had perceived to be the body at the time, kind of drift down, and I lost sense of that, and I just became this giant wave of vibrations as I laid into the ground. And I could feel myself just vroom, 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 like it was like a MRI machine on fast forward, right? On high speed or whatever. As the vibrations started to stabilize and ultimately become unrecognizable to myself, I knew that I was in my bed again. Sure enough, I opened my eyes and I was laying on the same side that my dream body had suddenly fallen asleep on. And I thought that was pretty cool that my dream body assumed the dream position of my sleeping body. I do know that there are dream practices like Carlos Castaneda's Art of Dreaming, in which one of the practices, I believe it's that book. I did read, what's this lady's name? Marilyn Tunishende. I did read her Twilight Language of the Nagal. And just thinking about it right now, I can't remember which practice from which book it comes from, because I literally read them back to back not too long ago. But one of the practices for, it's the Carlos Castaneda, because it's a gate of power, I believe. Or one of the gates of dreaming. It involves lucidly falling asleep in your dream state in the same position that your waking body is in. And there is a lot as to why, and we're not going to touch that now because we are just blowing through the basics right now. So that was my most recent lucid dream. And this, from me and myself, this came from months and months of dream journaling and recalling and dealing with my discomfort and my pain. And it's been trying. But enough about me. We are strolling back to the discussion of realizing your lucid dreaming. Now, personally, for me, when I first started learning how to lucid dream, it was 5 years ago, and it wasn't under the hustle and bustle of life. It was under the hustle and bustle of death. For me, 5 years ago, I had suffered a really, really bad accident that left me with a lot of brain damage. Enough brain damage to the point where if I touch the right side of my head, I only felt it on the left. And if I touched the left side of my head, I didn't feel it anywhere else. I would have these sensations of a hot butter knife slowly sifting its way through the top of my brain down the middle, like right in the middle of the left and right hemispheres, just in that crevice, just sawing its way through. It was a really, really jarring experience. I was going through a lot back then. I was in and out of hospitals, and ultimately I was given a year to live. At the time, this is a story. At the time, I didn't have any insurance. I didn't have a stable job. I was working for the rideshare companies, but at that time, I was very depressed, so I would wait until like the last minute just to do the jobs, right? So when it came to finding out what was going on and finding out what was wrong with me and going through the motions, I realized that I had no money for medical treatment, and God forbid I do this. I go look for some kind of treatment, and I just have to keep paying out the ass, right? Like I go to one hospital, I'll go to another hospital, I'll go here, I'll go to there. Like at the end of the day, they're all just gonna run my pockets. They're not looking to help somebody who doesn't have insurance, and that knowledge is like earth-shattering, bro. And it didn't like it was more of a reason for me at the end of the day subconsciously to kind of throw in the towel. And one day I changed, and I realized this wasn't the road that I wanted to go down, and I started looking at holistic methods. I started looking at other things that I could do for myself, to myself, by myself. And, you know, if I had sat there and logically thought to myself, there's no other way to do this than going to the hospital, I wouldn't be alive right now. I gotta tell you that. I definitely would not be kicking. I would be stuck 6 feet under with a stupid ass look on my face. I had looked up Reiki healing, the ability to manipulate energy to heal the body or to heal other people's bodies. It's a long process to learn how to detect subtle energy, how to manipulate subtle energy, and how to channel it and know which direction it's going in. Like there's a lot of work that goes in with that, and that was too much to learn. And I had looked up binaural beats, right? There was the binaural beats that are supposed to help your brain at night when you sleep, and I was playing those every single fucking night. And when I woke up, I felt that it helped slightly, but enough stress or something on myself, and the sensation of the butter knife of death would come back. So with really not that many options left, I had stumbled across a talk online somewhere about lucid dream healing, and there were a lot of articles online about it. And I thought to myself, like, if if this really does work, if something like this really could work, then I'd be an idiot if I did not give it a shot. So I bought a bunch of books online, one of them being Robert Wagner's second book, Lucid Dreaming: Gateway to the Inner Self. The weirdest thing happened that night. The night that I discovered this, I was maybe 5-6 months into this whole year thing, and the sensations have just gotten worse and gotten worse and gotten worse, to the point where I'm bedridden and I can't do anything but just sleep. So I'm adding in all these books, and I literally have $100 to my name. I was terrified that these books were going to equal way more than I could afford. By the end, the total before I hit the proceed to checkout stuff was like $80 something in the cart. So I'm freaking out. I'm fighting myself. I'm telling myself this is not a good idea. I'm telling myself that this is not the way to go. This is not what I want to do. This is not gonna fucking work. And I just started praying. I was like, I need a sign. If this is gonna work, then please give me a sign right now. Like I have 6 months at best left. Like I need to know this will work. I scrolled down quickly. I hit the purchase button, and I was terrified, man. I didn't even look at the total. I opened my eyes, and the total after I purchased says $44.44. I looked it up immediately afterwards, and 4444 is supposed to indicate like new beginnings, that guardians are watching over you, that you're being protected and watched over for. It basically a huge turning point in someone's life, right? A huge turning point potentially in my life. That's what I looked it up, and I thought to myself, like, I might be tweaking. Maybe there was just an insane deal, and I hit refresh and it went back to whatever the original price was. So I took that small sign on faith, and when the books came, that was the first one that I cracked open. I read through it as fast and as thoroughly as I could. I remember reading about him learning about Carlos Castaneda's hand technique and utilizing it for himself when he was a kid. And I believe he was a kid, teenager. I don't know if he's going to get caught up on that. You my boy, Robert. So I had finally worked my way over to the lucid dream healing chapter. By this time, I had not had a lucid dream yet. I had only been remembering my dreams. I wasn't even dream journaling at this point. Super reckless. I had one thing in mind, right? It was just damn everything else. So I had gotten into the lucid dream healing chapter, and he talks about this one account where there's a woman who, she was having such bad period cramps that she was getting herself prepared and ready for a hysterectomy. To consider a hysterectomy from just your period pain is a pain that I never wish on anybody. So before she ended up doing this, she learned about the lucid dream healing, and she decided to try a mantra in her dream state. And when she became lucid, she was laying down and she had her hands over her lady bits. And she had used the mantra, and she had channeled this was, I believe she wrote that it was this pink and white energy in that specific account. She had channeled this energy into her body, and she had let it saturate and manifest and just settle in there. And from that night on, she hasn't had any period pains. There was another guy later on, they were talking about like co-lucid dream healing, lucid dreaming with other people. And there's this awesome ass dude named Ed Kellogg who had worked, I believe the story was he had worked on a guy whose like ankle had almost torn clean off, right? So he had asked him for his permission for when Ed becomes lucid to work on his buddy's leg. And the guy said, yeah. So that night, him and his buddy had worked on healing his leg. And the next time he went to the doctor told him that it looked like someone squeezed 20 years of physical therapy since he had last seen him. Just these two stories alone made me realize that I too have the ability to do this. There is somewhere along those lines where Robert was writing about not doing something that advanced yet to work the way up there, and like I didn't have any chance to work anything up there. This is like, it's go time, baby. So in reading this chapter, I had learned the mantra. I believe, if I remember correctly, the mantra is, by the power divine, cure this blank of mine, right? Or you can use heal this blank of mine. I had read this mantra that Ed Kellogg had came up with, and literally the same week, I had my first lucid dream. I was in complete pitch blackness. There was nothing around me. And the fact that I was in complete darkness, but I felt that I could still somehow see, but I could see nothing, made me question everything. And then I realized, this is it. I'm dreaming. Oh my God. And from this realization, the emotional charge, right? This is one of the things that is really difficult to work through when you are first becoming lucid, when you're working out the kinks, is the emotional charge. You'll find that at times it is exceedingly easy to let an emotional charge sway your lucidity or bring you back into your waking body altogether. And the latter had occurred for me. I had gotten so excited, so woohoo, that I had finally had a lucid dream that I woke up in my bed. But I didn't wake up disappointed. I woke up knowing that the next time I would get it right. So the second night, I used my mantras, and I don't remember how I got to this exact point, but I was conscious and there was nothing around me but just pitch white. It was all just blinding white. And I thought to myself, this is weird. There is no other color. There's no furniture. There's no nothing. Where the hell am I? Am I in a loony bin? No. That would have been a crazy turn of events though, right? No. I must be dreaming. So when I realized that, I quickly calmed myself down. And I told myself, this is it. This is the point in time that we're gonna do this. I put my hands on each side of my head, not on it, but facing my head, my brain, right? The top of my head. And I said out loud, by the power divine, cure this brain of mine. And the coolest thing happened. There was a mannequin, a purple mannequin-esque face that popped up in front of me with no like real facial definition, so it didn't necessarily look like me, like the waking me, but I still recognized this purple head as a placement of me from somewhere, right? From the mental realm of existence or some other kind of realm. I still can't personally break all that down fully, but I understood that this face represented my waking head and its damage. And when I realized that, a bunch of spikes popped up all over my head, Hellraiser style. And I recognized those spikes, and I took them to mean that this was the damage done to my brain. And they were like, I used to have spiky hair in high school. They were much longer than that, all right? It was really scary how long they were. They were like needlepoint long, very long. I know I said long like 16 times. As I channeled the energy, this magnificent swirling blue and white energy, as I channeled it, right, into my hands and into my dream body brain that my hands were surrounding, I could see the mannequin-esque face in front of me. I could see those needles deteriorate and slowly go down and subside until they weren't pumping up at all. And I woke up that night, and I've never fucking never have had the same pain since then. I also have taken the time throughout the years to touch up on different parts of the head just to confirm. Now, I did like 1 or 2 more healing sessions after that for the brain and the central nervous system. And I had a year from this event. You can't ever tell me shit about the efficacy of lucid dreaming. I will always tell you that no matter if you think you're right or if you think you're wrong, you're right, because that's exactly what it is. If you want to have a shouting match or something, because I actually had a shouting match with one guy that I brought up lucid dream healing with, who was suffering from something, who bragged about lucid dreaming since he was 10 and he's like 40 now. The guy got super pissed at me because I even brought up this story and called me a liar, called me this, called me that, and like I didn't even bother arguing back or trying to prove it, because at the end of the day, if you feel that you know, right, quote unquote, if you feel that you quote unquote know that these things aren't possible, they won't be possible. They won't. They simply won't. When I did this lucid dream healing on myself, my second time lucid dreaming, when I applied my own life saving to myself, I didn't logically think, man, how am I supposed to know this information? How am I supposed to have learned this? I'm not a neuroscientist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not even an ist. I'm just a guy. I didn't think anything like that. There was no logic. I knew that somewhere, I had access to that information. I didn't rely on the how or the why. I just knew that it would happen. And that's the one of the biggest tricks with lucid dreaming and with doing things. You know, when you first become lucid, when you first get that sensation, when you first break into that moment of Madre Dios, I am dreaming, you like that feeling stays with you. That feeling of wonderment, it stays with you and it settles with you, and it just it's man, it's like learning a new skill. Only this skill has been around since we've been around, since the human race has been around. This skill has been around, and that feeling stays with you. And even if you physically, logically can't quantify that emotion, energetically you still felt it. And energetically, your body wants more of it. Just like the 2-year-old learning how to grow up and you know, going from one letter words to stringing multiple words to one day hitting the full sentences. You know, you are learning to refine and mature your energy body. And even if the logic of your waking world tells you everything is wrong about it, when your energy body finally gets a taste of that, when it finally expands itself, you'd have to be a nut job to want to shut that down. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that lucid dream healing is not something you should do when you first start lucid dreaming. Because obviously I did it, and I am not going to sit here and tell you to not do something that I did. I will tell you that consciously, in my eyes, consciously manipulating energy does put you on a radar in the dream world, in the mental realm of existence. I will say that the sky's a limit when you lucid dream, and the limit of the sky is perception based. You can stare at the sky, you can fly into the sky, you can walk through walls, you can sit underwater and not worry about breathing. You can go to the Mariana Trench, the Marinara Trench, see what lurks below. You can fly into outer space. You can work on meditating. You can resonate. You can do a lot. There's so many different kinds of experiences and experiments that you have the ability to undertake within the dream state. And in the next episode, I'm going to talk more about my beginning experiences with lucid dreaming, a lot of the different beginning things that I have done whilst lucid, including learning how to word things properly. Believe it or not, wording is one of the key catalysts when you lucid dream. And I can't wait to crack that egg open with you guys and make at least a piece of an omelet. Till next time, everybody.